Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today, I will be going over the critically acclaimed Lord of the Rings. This epic high fantasy classic tale by the esteemed writer J.R.R. Tolkien explores the themes of power, death, and friendship through the simple story of an omnipotent ring. The premise is simple: one ring to rule them all, and one boy who must destroy it. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Centuries ago, there was the forging of the noble rings. They were divided between the elves, the dwarf lords, and humankind. They all resided in Middle-earth, where each kingdom was ruled by each ring. However, in Mordor, a malevolent creature named Sauron forged another ring. All the races of Middle-earth warred against him and his unjust hold. Isildur, a prince, successfully defeated Sauron temporarily and stole the ring for his own. However, he too abused its power. The ring, having a mind of its own, realized that and escaped from Isildur underwater. There, it was wielded by a creature named Gollum for centuries. When the time came, the ring betrayed Gollum as well. It was Bilbo Baggins who then picked it up. Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit. Hobbits live in peaceful and quaint villages under the hills. He is writing a memoir. On his birthday, his old friend Gandalf, the wizard, decides to surprise him. He meets Frodo first, who tells him Bilbo has been acting strangely lately. He then talks to Bilbo, who tells him of his plan to leave the village and go to a secluded area so he can finish writing his memoir. Soon after, the birthday celebrations begin. Bilbo makes a very emotional toast, and at the end announces that he intends to depart from the Shire. He puts the ring on hand and uses it to become invisible to dramatically exit. Back at home, Gandalf tries to persuade Bilbo not to take the ring with him. After a lot of grappling against the manipulative hold of the ring, he agrees and bids him farewell. Frodo is naturally inquisitive as to Bilbo's sudden departure. He tells him all of Bilbo's possessions are now his and that he must keep the ring a secret. He goes to do some research and discovers Sauron's story. He returns at once to tell Frodo about it. He yanks the ring into the fire, whereby its markings reveal the power of the ring. Sauron never died. His life force has been bound to the ring. He is reorganizing his forces, who tortured Gollum to find out the Baggins' name. He told Frodo that they might be headed for the Shire as they speak. Suddenly, Gandalf notices a disturbance. He finds Samwise, another hobbit that was eavesdropping. Therefore, he entrusts Frodo with the ring and asks Samwise to accompany him through his quest. As Frodo heads out for Bree, Gandalf travels to his master, Saruman the Wise. Saruman warns that Mordor's takeover is inevitable, and therefore the two of them should just unite with him. Upon Gandalf's disagreement, Saruman locks the doors of his palace shut, and the two of them violently duel. Meanwhile, Frodo and Bilbo run into Merry and Pippin, two other hobbits they knew from the Shire. They are shocked when strange men with hoods on horseback pursue them. They hide inside a tree, and through distractions, make their way away to Bree. There they enter Prancing Pony, the inn Gandalf told Frodo they could commune at. Merry inadvertently takes Frodo's full name, despite his caution. He tries to stop Merry from revealing more when he slips and falls. The ring lures him to put it on. He does so and becomes invisible. Once he takes it off and can be seen, a hooded man takes him into his room. He tells them to trust him since the Rangers, who he calls the Ring Wraiths, are forever close. Under his command, all of them set out to Rivendell. As Saruman breeds ogres and goblins for an army, Gandalf lies defeated on his palace roof. On the other hand, the hobbits find a place for shelter. In an abandoned watchtower, they decide to stay the night. However, the Wraiths find them, and they stab Frodo with a Morgul blade. The hooded man says the only cure for this is Elvish, otherwise he will become a wraith himself. Miraculously, an elf Arwen appears and offers to take Frodo to Rivendell. Arwen notices some wraiths behind her. She uses her powers to increase the river flow, successfully leaving them behind. Tragically, Frodo seems to be bleeding out. Using her tears and some wee for his wound, she saves him. He wakes up at Rivendell, with Gandalf by his bedside. He managed to flee from Saruman on a huge eagle's back. He also reunites with Bilbo, who says he might not finish his book. Gandalf and Elrond argue if the ring should stay in Rivendell or if Frodo should bear it, as he has done excellently hitherto. Elrond reminisces about the war. 3,000 years ago, he told Isildur to burn the ring in Mordor, the only place it can ever be destroyed. However, he refused, and since his time, humankind has been corrupted. At a conference, it is revealed that the hooded man is Aragorn, heir to Isildur. Arwen professes her love for him and gives up her immortality for him. It is decided after some squabbling that Frodo should take the ring. Everyone else pledges their allegiance for him, and they set out to Mordor. Noticing that there is a flock of birds spying, Gandalf suggests they go an alternative route, over the icy mountain Caradhras. There they struggle as an avalanche envelops them, which was triggered by Saruman to sabotage them. Gandalf warns Frodo about the threats outside and within his new fellowship, and that he should only trust himself. Gandalf decides to lead them through the caves of Moria. Gandalf tells Frodo he noticed that Gollum is around, either escaped or let loose to ambush Frodo on his quest. After some pondering, Gandalf remembers his way. Eventually, they find their way in a forgotten dwarf city. The dwarf, Gimli, is overjoyed at first, before he sees the corpses and tombstones of his family. His cousin Balin passed away. Everything looked so ominous as to almost have predicted what came next. Orcs swarmed the place. Legolas, Boromir, Gimli, the hobbits, and Gandalf fought valiantly. An inordinately sized orc aimed straight for Frodo. Once the rest defeated him, they were surprised to know Frodo was not as much as scratched. This was because of a hard and special vest Bilbo gave him. Further into the caves, they found more orcs. These they dealt with. Before they could cross the bridge of Chadium, they noticed a demon was on their trail. Gandalf told them it would be futile to try fight it, for they are unmatched. Orcs surround them, and the demon shakes the structures in the caves. This made it hard for the team to cross the bridge. A chunk of the bridge fell off, and Legolas had to cautiously maneuver himself and Frodo across despite it. Lastly, in a tragic moment, Gandalf used a spell on the demon. Defeated, it fell in the caves, taking Gandalf with it. Outside, everyone started to mourn Gandalf. It was Aragorn who reminded everyone that they need to hurry, since orcs are dominant by nightfall. A tribe of elves tries to stop the Fellowship from crossing. After some talking to Legolas, they agree to take everyone to Caras Galadhon, the biggest elf kingdom. There they met Galadriel, who told them all hope is lost without Gandalf. Later, when the elves were lamenting Gandalf, Boromir was confiding in Aragorn about his hopelessness in terms of his father's kingdom of Gondor. Galadriel summons Frodo and tells him to look into a mirror. At first, it showed him glimpses of the past, people he knew, and the Shire. But soon, it started revealing the ghastly future. Galadriel told him that this might be the actual future if he does not act well or soon enough. Moreover, she said they both can feel the Fellowship breaking apart, and so the only one he can really trust is himself. For their departure, she prepares gifts for everyone. Knowing that orcs travel by land, the Fellowship chose to commute via the river. In the middle of the night, Frodo overhears Boromir and Aragorn. Boromir expresses his frustration over the denial of his offer of alliance with the Gondor army to Aragorn. He senses the weakness in his fellowship as the next day they get to land. After talking amongst themselves for a while, the Fellowship notices that Frodo is missing. Boromir climbs up to find out. Despite not meaning to, he gets so drawn to the ring that he starts to threaten Frodo. He leaps on him, and Frodo once again slips the ring on. When he is safe, he takes it off and informs Aragorn of his decision to leave for Mordor alone. The ring tries to lure Aragorn, but he does not cave and lets him go. Suddenly, the orcs storm the place. They impale Boromir. As he is dying, he tells Aragorn he is ashamed, and Aragorn assures him he still has his honor. To secure safe passage for Frodo, Merry and Pippin distract the orcs, and because of it get kidnapped by them. Sam sees Frodo leaving, and he begs to let him join, and so Frodo makes a concession for him. The rest promise each other they will go to rescue Merry and Pippin together.